out of the finish line.
So we got two 707s through our first two sections, and now it gets really serious. Jaylee has a 707.25, Claire Eigner a 707.52, but now we got this bunch. And we have U.S. number 1 and 2, Lily Bogdan wearing hip 1, Lakeview, New York, 6:34.34. Victoria Rodriguez, Mercer Island, Washington, 6:41.62. She is wearing hip 2. We also have Addie Guyman, another Utah kid, 6:37.37.
Rodriguez,
record 6:33, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Rodriguez, the defending champion from last year. She won in 6:42. I think we're going to be much faster than that this year, Bob, when it gets down to the finals at the finish line.
Now, Rodriguez just ran a 3K steeple last week at the Portland Track Festival. Her best track event is the 16. Washington does not have steeple at their state meet. She was 14th in the state. But she runs a good company. She was at the Oregon Relays, ran on a good DMR team. She ran at the Brooks PR on a 4x8 relay. And again, she won the steeple here back in April. Set her PR of 6:41. But she's got even more company here with Bogdan.
Yeah, Bogdan off the front. There was another runner who'd taken out a little bit aggressively at the front, but now Bogdan settled in with the lead. Oh, that's picture perfect water jump technique from Bogdan. And again, the ones that can benefit from running this more frequently at the high school level, they will be able to work on their technique more. And you can tell that from Bogdan, both on the barriers on the track and in particular the water jump. She is just much more comfortable handling it.
Ran a 6:34 in high school, ran a 17:48 5K cross country at the New York Public School Championships, and then went 19:01 for 5,000 at NXR.
There's always discussion that the steeplechase is the cross country of track, and in some respects it is, but I think they're two very different events. Running's running, and cross country running is more purely about being running. Yeah, they might throw a few hay bales and creek crossings, you know, out on the running court, on a cross country running course, but generally speaking, it's the best runners, middle distance runners, long distance runners who prevail at cross country, not necessarily the best steeplechase runner in that event.
No, and I think if you're a fan of this sport, you just kind of enjoy this event for what it is. And honestly, especially in the U.S., this event has come such a long way since the 80s, where there were no significant Americans, men or women.
Well, and for women, it's still relatively new, Bob, at the international level. It's only been the last, I'd say 10, 15 years, and at the Olympic and the World Championships level, that they've been contesting the 3,000 meter steeplechase for women at that international level. So this is an event for the younger athletes that is on the rise, and I hope that more states start to introduce it at the high school level in the U.S., like Utah and New York have. We have it in Canada. All provinces do have this, or most provinces, the bigger ones anyways. Yeah, it's always contested at the high school level in Canada and the larger provinces.
Well, and, back in the days of Athletics West at Eugene, you know who the biggest name steeplechaser was. This is early, mid-'80s, a Canadian, Art Boileau.
Art Boileau, yes, Oregon grad, a Duck.
stayed here and trained. But he was the guy. We didn't have Americans. He was our favorite steeplechaser.
Well, that was the time Boileau and Graham Fell were Canada's top steeplechase runners.
Yes.
They're both hailed from the Vancouver area. So
saw them both run here. Yeah, Art was a great ambassador for the event. And Canadian track, which, you know, wasn't necessarily as back and forth with the U.S. as it is now. Here's the bell, 1 to go. And no surprise that our U.S. leader is in charge. Now, can she break her PR? That's 6:34. Let's see. She did that at the New York Public School Outdoor Championships last week. Eventually, she'll get a summer vacation. That was at Middletown High School. She won that race by 13 seconds. And she's about 14 seconds ahead of Wingard right now, who's holding down second. And, you know, we talked about Victoria Rodriguez. She did not start this race. So here she comes. New PR. New
nice.
U.S. number 1, Lily Bogdan. 6:29.81. And she has broken the meet record. Taylor Ewart, and there's one of the young U.S. aces, beats it by 4 seconds. Beats the Hayward Field record for age group. That was 6:36.
So superlatives all around, Bob, for Lily Bogdan. She had to do it solo, really didn't have much competition beyond the first lap, and 6:29.8. I can tell you from having followed a number of these races in Canada and the states that contest this in the U.S., this would be a good boys' time, in a high school boys' time in a lot of states that have it, and provinces in Canada. And here we just having a peek back at Bogdan's effort. She has nice economical running form, very relaxed. We are looking at the water jump, 1 foot up. There it is. That's that classic 1 foot with a splash in, and the next one coming up onto dry land. So a little run into the finish. And stopping the clock. Sub 30, 6:30 for new records all around.
Well, isn't it true that if you're getting too wet in the water jump, you're not doing it right?
Correct. Should have just 1 foot damp.